Let me ask you something you've probably never said out loud. Think back to a goal you desperately wanted. Maybe it was a salary number, a car, a title, an apartment. Whatever it was, you remember the feeling, the fantasy. If I just get that, everything changes. And then you got it. And for a few weeks, maybe even a few months, it was incredible. And then it just became your life. Normal, background noise. The dream became the default. And without even noticing it, your eyes had already drifted to the next thing. If that story sounds familiar, you're not broken, you're not ungrateful, you're just on a treadmill, and nobody told you it never stops. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. The idea is almost cruel in its simplicity. Human beings are wired to return to a baseline level of happiness regardless of what happens to them. Win the lottery, get the promotion, buy the house. Within 6 to 12 months, studies show, your happiness returns to roughly where it started. The $100,000 salary that felt like freedom at $60,000, by the time you're earning it, you've already recalibrated. Now, $100K feels tight. You need $140K. And when you get $140K, well, you get the picture. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You are not chasing a destination. You are chasing a feeling. And the feeling has legs. The problem isn't ambition. Ambition is good. The problem is believing that the next milestone will be the one that finally delivers the contentment the last one didn't. It won't. Not because you're doing it wrong, because that's the design. The treadmill doesn't have an off switch, unless you build one yourself. And most people never do. Now let's make this a little more uncomfortable. Because it's not just about your own goals moving, it's about whose goals you're measuring yourself against. Capitalism is extraordinarily good at generating two things, wealth and envy, and those two products are almost always sold together. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine 3 people. There's Bill. Bill makes $80,000 a year. He's doing okay. Comfortable house, decent car, takes a vacation once a year. By most global standards, Bill is living like royalty. Then there's Stan. Stan makes $400,000 a year. Private school for the kids, nice neighborhood, drives something German. Stan feels successful until he starts spending time with his colleagues who are pulling in $2 or $3 million. And then there's Bezos. You know Bezos. Bezos has a yacht with a support yacht. A support yacht, which is a second yacht whose entire job is to carry the helicopter for the main yacht. Now here's the thing. All 3 of these men go to bed at night feeling like they could have more. That's not a character flaw. That's an evolutionary hangover. Our brains were built for a world of small tribes where falling behind was a literal threat to survival. Envy isn't a moral failing. It's a biological alarm system that never got updated for a world where your reference group now includes billionaires on Instagram. But here's what that alarm system is costing you. It's impossible to feel enough when you're comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 30. And in the age of social media, you're always looking at someone's chapter 30. The math never works in your favor. There is always a bigger fish. Always. And the bigger you get, the bigger the fish you can suddenly see. Let me tell you a story about a parking valet. A financial writer once described working as a valet at a hotel. Every night he'd park Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches. And he noticed something strange. He never once thought about the driver. He never looked at the guy stepping out of the Ferrari and thought, wow, that person must be impressive. What he thought was, imagine if that were me. Imagine how people would look at me. And that's the paradox hiding inside almost every luxury purchase we make. We buy things to signal status to other people, but other people don't see us. They see themselves in the thing we bought. The person driving next to you in traffic when you pull up in your new car, they're not admiring you. They're imagining themselves in it. You paid $80,000 to be invisible. You essentially became a walking advertisement for a brand, spending your money, taking on the debt or the depreciation, while the audience you were performing for never even registered you were on stage. This is going to sting a little. Most of the status purchases we make are actually not for us. They're for a version of other people's admiration that doesn't exist in the way we imagine it does. People are too busy thinking about their own status to think very long about yours. Here's the brutal truth that most financial content won't say out loud. The hardest financial skill in the world is not picking stocks. It's not compound interest. It's not even delayed gratification. It's getting the goalpost to stop moving. Because when the goalpost never stops moving, it doesn't just cost you contentment, it starts costing you things that matter far more than money. Think about the high earner who works 70 hours a week, the golden handcuffs we call them. The salary is extraordinary, but the job owns their time, their health, their weekends, their attention at the dinner table. They've traded things that can't be bought back for a number that never satisfies. Or think about people who risk genuinely important things, their reputation, their relationships, their integrity, chasing a financial outcome that, if they got it, they'd simply reset their expectations and chase the next one anyway. They risk what they have and what they need for what they don't have and what they don't need. It's like carrying a bucket with a hole in it. You keep pouring money and effort in, but without a definition of enough, it all drains out, and you're just as empty as when you started, only more tired. The relentless pursuit of more isn't ambition. At a certain point, it becomes a compulsion, and compulsions are, by definition, not making you happy. Here's a distinction almost nobody makes, but everybody should. Rich and wealthy are not the same. Rich is what you see. It's current income, visible spending, the car, the house, the wardrobe, the vacation on the feed. Rich is a performance, and performances are expensive to maintain. Wealth is what you don't see. Wealth is the money that hasn't been spent. It's the options, the runway, the ability to say no to things that don't serve you, the ability to walk away. The richest-looking people you know might have nothing in savings, and the wealthiest person in the room might dress like they just came from the garden. Wealth isn't an aesthetic, it's a structural condition. How much of your time and your future do you actually own? A doctor who earns $600,000 a year but spends $580,000 has 12 months of runway. A teacher who earns $60,000 and spends $40,000 has years. In terms of actual freedom, the teacher might be wealthier. We've been conditioned to optimize for the appearance of success instead of the experience of it. So what's the alternative? It starts with a reframe. Stop asking, how do I get more? Start asking, how much is enough and what do I actually get when I have it? Because money only has one dividend that actually matters in the long run. Not the returns, not the compound interest, not the portfolio. The highest dividend money pays is the ability to wake up in the morning and decide how you spend your day. That's it. That's the whole thing. Not the Ferrari, not the penthouse, not the business class seat. Those things are nice, but they're not freedom. Freedom is nobody owns your Monday morning. Nobody can make you take a meeting you don't want to take. Nobody can keep you somewhere you've decided to leave. That kind of independence is almost invisible. You can't post it, nobody at the dinner party will notice it, but the people who have it, they notice it every single day. And here's what's interesting. That kind of independence doesn't require being a billionaire. It requires alignment, knowing what you actually want your life to feel like and building towards that specific thing instead of chasing a general, abstract, ever-moving more. You don't need the support yacht. You need the life that doesn't make you wish you were somewhere else. I want to leave you with this. Happiness is not a number. It's a gap, the gap between your expectations and your reality. You can close that gap in one of two ways. You can raise your reality to meet your expectations, or you can adjust your expectations to meet your reality. We've been conditioned to optimize for the appearance of success on the first option. Try harder, earn more, get the thing, chase the feeling. But the most quietly content people I've ever encountered, and you probably know one or two, they're working both sides of that equation. They're building towards something, but they've also decided clearly and consciously what enough looks like. They have a number, a lifestyle, a condition, and when they hit it, they stop the clock. They don't let the goalpost move. That's not giving up. That's winning. It's just a version of winning that doesn't photograph well.
So here's the challenge I want to leave you with, and it sounds simple, but I promise you it isn't. Define your enough. Not a vague, I'll know it when I get there, a real number, a real lifestyle, a real description of a Tuesday afternoon in the life you want 5 years from now. Write it down, be specific, because if you don't define it, the market will define it for you. And the market's enough is always one product cycle away from where you are right now. If you never define enough, you will spend your entire life exhausted, chasing a target that was designed to keep moving. That's the trap. And now you can see it. The question is what you do next. If this video made you stop and think, even just a little, share it with someone who needs it.